Okay, so I'm Qasim Iqbal. I'm the executive director of NAS Pakistan, which is the very first LGBT organization in Pakistan. Pakistan is from a region which gave birth to the Kama Sutra. Pakistan is a land where sex and sexuality was very free. We celebrated femininity in men. Transgender persons were the advisor to the Mughal emperors and lived on the palace grounds. All of this changed in the 1800s when the British came over. When we take the LGBT spectrum, the T are probably the least marginalized, which is very different from the West. And that's because of cultural and historic significance of the transgender persons and our interpretation of Islam. The LGB, however, is a totally different story. For female-bodied persons, things are really bad. Women do not, of course, enjoy the male privilege, and therefore they're much more protected in our society. And there is no way for them to even be able to meet other women. A lot of them don't even know that it's okay to be a lesbian or bisexual, and they feel there's something wrong with them internally. From the legal aspect, it makes it even worse because we are, of course, the criminalized population, except for the transgender people. We have two different laws that run parallel to each other. We've got the common law, which we inherited from the English. And under that, we have the Section 377, of course, comes with a 10-year mandatory prison sentence and 200 lashes. And then parallel to that, we have the Sharia law, under which any sex outside of marriage is punishable by stoning to death. So we do have the death penalty as well. Islam is not only our religion, but it is also our culture. There is definitely a huge conflict between sexuality and faith within the LGBT community. There's a lot of people who feel they're doing wrong, their desires are wrong. It's not something that they can suppress, but they do try. So there is this constant battle, it seems like. We use HIV as a tool to fight for human rights. I think it's been done, that it's been tested all over the world, and it works, in especially conservative countries such as Pakistan. Although we are using it as a tool, it's still very challenging because when you're working in HIV, you need to be talking about sex constantly. And that is not something that you can actually do openly. You have to be very strategic. We, as an organization, we've had outreach workers who've been arrested for distributing condoms at hotspots where male sex workers, for example, may mostly work. And because it is illegal to promote sex. So although we have a letter from the government of Pakistan, from the health ministry, saying that we can distribute condoms, but you have to do it in a way where you're not doing it in a public environment. So there are huge challenges working working in HIV in Pakistan. Well, I think the work that we're doing with TCEN is at a more global level. So it is very important because in Pakistan, talking about LGBT rights is not something that we can do openly, and we cannot certainly not approach our politicians or high-end officials to try to do any kind of an advocacy. Therefore, it is in our best interest if we do it more from an international level, from a global perspective, and somehow try to put pressure on the Pakistani government externally, because doing so internally would put ourselves at risk.